Welcome everybody to the Wednesday night Likutei Moharan. We are holding now in Torah Chaf Hey. That means Torah 25 in Likutei Moharan. And this is the third of our shiurim on Torah Chaf Hey. I had to switch, by the way. The last one was listed on the website. It was in the wrong playlist. So the first and second shir for this Torah are on YouTube. And they're now visible in the Likutei Moharan playlist. Pardon me. And this is lesson number 3 in this Torah. So let's get into it. It's been a little while, and since we've been able to finish this full-time work. And so let's get a little bit of a reintroduction as to where we're at. So we said like this. We said that we have to do everything we can to break the koyach hamedameh, the power of imagination that we find in our heart. And by doing this, we'll be able to take our potential intellect out into actuality, and then we'll be able to achieve this acquired intellect. And if you remember, Rabbi Nachman explained this with these ideas, one of them in particular being the union of having a heart of stone. And we said that a heart of stone and a heart of flesh, meaning having an unfeeling heart and a feeling heart, are not necessarily what we would think. To have a heart that feels doesn't mean, I'll say it one more time, doesn't mean necessarily what we think it means. What does it mean? We might think that having a heart that feels, a heart of flesh that feels, means the classic line that everyone likes to say, just do what your heart tells you to. Or follow your heart, right? Which could be good advice. However, not if it's follow what your heart says when you haven't injected your intellect into it also. Meaning, following your heart can lead you to make the worst mistakes, and you could be doing the totally wrong thing. Your heart and your desires of your heart, right, can be, well, I just really feel like I need to eat a bacon sandwich right now. I don't care what you feel. That's not your heart. Right? That is called a heart of stone. That's when your heart is not working. That's when you're just allowing yourself to be pulled by whatever it is. It's actually not our heart. And it's a mistake that we make. When we engage our heart, we engage our heart properly, and we have a heart of flesh when we engage our intellect into it. And our intellect informs our heart. And through the combination of those two, we're able to find ourselves doing amazing things. But kol zman that I'm just following this, today I feel like this, so I'm doing this, right? That's not the way. Right? You know what I need today? Today I just need a spa day.
Yes.
Me, I'm saying about me. I need to just not do anything, and I'm just gonna go and get a, I don't know, massage, pedicure, whatever. Right? I just need to relax. I need a me day where I need to be pampered. No, I don't get to do that. That's not my heart. That is me just following my bodily urges and flying with the whatever direction the wind is blowing me that day. That is not following one's heart. I'm not begrudging anybody manicures and pedicures, just saying me. It would be funny, right? It would be stupid to do such a thing. So too, whatever you can think of, where you're not thinking, you're not allowing your intellect, welcome everybody, to go down and inform your heart, and then feel what the right thing is through that. That's not the way it's going. Right? Rather, you're just flowing whichever direction the wind takes you. That's not the right way. So, having a heart and really following your heart could actually be the opposite, and not just following your heart, not following the whims of your heart. Right? I hope it's a little bit unclear, but that's the first step. So we have to bring the intellect in there, and then when we allow the intellect to wake up And we don't just follow the whims of the dictates of our heart, right? We don't just go here and there. Rather, we allow our intellect to wake up and to inform what we should be doing, and we bring it into action. Then we can live in a way, by the way, the first shir that we said on this explains this in a very deep way, a very good deep way. You should hear it. But that allows us to now live in a way where we are authentically following our intellect married with our heart, and we're feeling deeply things that we know and we've thought about, we've internalized are the right thing to do. And now we feel that deep in our heart, and we live in that way. It's a tremendously authentic way to live, right? Because you've used your intellect to develop your path in life. And when you've used that intellect to develop your path, and then you marry that together with your heart, you're living authentically. And you're not just following whatever the trend is, and whatever way you're being pulled, whatever way the wind is blowing that day, right? It's a very, and you're living authentically. It's fantastic. It's really a beautiful idea. So then we said, after that a person is always moving from level to level. And every time we go to a new level, we experience a new klipa, a new force of darkness, a new husk, shell that's going to be around the essence of that new level that I'm on, which is going to be the fruit, right? So we say this idea that always that the that the klipa kadam lepri, that the shell comes before the fruit. Right? Every new level we get onto, there's some tremendous type of spiritual enlightenment, shefa, to be experienced on that level. But in order to get to that spiritual wealth that we can find in that area, we have to break through the barrier, the husk, the shells that are in that place. That's the klipa. So we're going to experience that at each level. And then we said that there's no two Jews who are the same. There's no two Jews who are on the exact same level. So if I'm going to elevate up one level, then the person above me is going to have to be pushed out of that spot and elevate up. Or they're going to elevate also. And the person below me is going to have to come up also. So one of the aspects of this, we'll see how this all comes together later on in the Torah, but one of the aspects of this is that, the fantastic aspects, is that when we live in elevation, when we elevate ourselves up, we are pushing Klal Yisrael up with us. We're lifting up the whole entire universe at the same time with us. If I move up, then the guy above me has to move up also. I got to schlep the guy below me with me. When we make movements towards Hashem, we lift up the whole world together with us, which is one of the most important concepts of this Torah that we're learning today. Is all about elevation, lifting all the spiritual universes up. So, and then we said that so when we get onto that next level, we're going to be subdued by. So we have to also be careful. We can be burned by those above us, because the klipas have not been broken yet. Okay, good. So, and we said the last thing we said is that when we elevate, we all have an aspect of pnimi and chitzoni. In Kabbalah, there's always an or pnimi and an or makif, and inner and outer lights. And our inner light, our inner soul, our inner existence, is the higher level existence of us. In Kabbalah, there's two ways to show closeness to Hashem. One is the way we say something's on a higher level, and the other is we say that something's on a more pnimi level, a more inner level. And they both really mean the same thing. They're just coming from two different dimensional aspects. Right? So my panimi is my higher level, and my chitzoni is my lower level. When I elevate up, when any level elevates, when any universe elevates, it's always the panimi of the lower universe. That means it's the higher level of that lower universe elevates, and it now it becomes the outer part of the next level. But it becomes the outer part of the next level. Right, so you see that we're going to see why he's telling us this later on, but it's all part of the build-up over here, right? So on the lower level, when a person elevates, their innermost, awesomest part elevates, But when they get up to the next level, it's on the outside of the outside that they are. And which is why it's connected to this idea that we have a long way to go on that new level. When we get to that new level, we're the outsiders, right? And as the outsiders, we got to break in. We got to get through. We got to get through those klippas, through all of that difficulty and dirt on that new level. So this is what we find ourselves, right? We saw this in another lesson in Rabbi Nachman. I think it's maybe Chaf Aleph also, where he talks about this idea that we should never be disheartened. We should never feel bad. We should never have yush, despair, feelings of giving up, when we find ourselves facing a struggle and feeling more distant from Hashem, right? Because it really, be'emes, means that we've just gotten to a new level. And at this new higher level, we're now the outsiders at the new level. And we have to break in. We got to get close to the Kedusha again. Because now that we moved up to that higher level, the forces of darkness are trying to keep us out. And we haven't broken through them yet. We haven't earned our stripes, let's say. We haven't built our muscles to be on this new level yet. So we got to build our muscles, earn our stripes, earn our wings, whatever the army has, and then we can break in. Then we can get to the fruit. We can get to the shefa. We can get to the illumination of that level. But then after that, we're just gonna have to move to the next level, and it's gonna happen again, right? So Rabbi Nachman is telling us, you know what's gonna happen to you? Your whole life, you're gonna move somewhere, and you're gonna experience tremendous illumination, and then you're gonna struggle. Why? Because you move to the next level, and it's always gonna happen. So you're gonna keep struggling, and that's what we want. That's the way it's supposed to be, and it's a sign that we're growing. It's a sign that we're moving. You don't build muscles without pain. No pain, no gain, they say, right? Yeah. Right? You don't become, the CEO without hours of hard work, right? I don't know. There's some good modern mashalim to do with gaining followers on social media or something. Without, I don't know. Maybe that way you can just do it. Got to create the content, right? Yeah. Yeah.
It's not always good to follow.
So that's where we're at. Okay. Now we're starting fresh. Page 120 in volume 4 of the BRI book, starting at letter Dalet on page 120. Zok Rabbi Nachman. Okay, it's not possible. It's only possible to break through those klippas. We got to the new level, and now we're facing those klippas, those forces of darkness that are trying to keep us out. It's only possible for us to break them, to break through that. And what are they? He's going to tell us now. What are the struggles at those levels? Hainu hadimyonos, the cookie illusions and imaginations that we have. V'hamachshavos, and those thoughts that we have that are pulling us back. V'hataivos, and the physical desires that we have. V'habilbulim, and the confusions. V'haminios, and the things that seem to step up in our path to stop us. B'madrega, shebemadrega, that are on that level. Ella al yadei gedulas haboire. We can only break through these klippas through gedulas haboire. That means the greatness of the Creator. The greatness of the Creator. So 2 amazing things are happening in this one little sentence. First of all, Rabbi Nachman is telling us all these things that we experience, that sometimes we think we're special because it's so hard for us, right? First of all, we are special. And it could be that the more special you are, the harder it is. Could be. But you know what you're going to experience? Everyone experiences as they jump levels? Dimyonos. Illusions. Meaning that could be many things. It could be I think that I have illusions of my own greatness. Because why? Because look what I've accomplished that got me up to this point. And now all of a sudden I'm going to be living in the world of dimyon, of imagination. And in that world of dimyon and imagination, I'm going to decide things that are a certain way. I'm going to decide that I'm, look, all the awesome stuff I've done, and my ego is going to grow, and that's not good. That's going to be a huge impediment to my existence at this new level. if I have ego and dimyonis. What did I just say is dimyonis? Illusion. If I have an illusionary view of the world that I'm living in. Machshavos, thoughts, right? My thoughts could be like this, could be ego. My thoughts could be anger. My thoughts could be the opposite. My thoughts could be destroying me, could be filled with fear, could be filled with negativity. This is a very common klipa to experience when we get to a new level, right? Have you ever experienced this before, where you're like, okay, I'm making a change, and I'm moving into a new level of existence, and you have some success, right? It could be like in spirit, in avodas Hashem, in the pneumistic avodas Hashem, the inner avodas Hashem of Torah and mitzvahs. It could be, I've really started working on tefillah, hisbodedus, whatever it is, doing it really well, and I've really started working on learning properly, and learning good stuff. Or on the other side, it could be, I got out of this and I left a job that I felt was really holding me back, and I moved into a new path, and I got a new job, and I'm so excited about it. Then you live in that place for a short time, and all of a sudden the thoughts come. Like, whoa, did I just make a huge mistake? The excitement doesn't last that long, and you can have bad thoughts even about mitzvahs, even about hisbodedus, right? It could be ego. It could be, like we said last week, like we said on Monday, it could be me looking at other people who are spending their time in, earning degrees and all these other things, and I may feel like, oh, I should be doing that also. Maybe the place that I took myself is not as great as I thought it was, right? Buyer's remorse, right? I may feel regret at my new level.
Isn't Yetzer Hara just coming at you?
Yeah. Machshavos. He's telling us now, this is the klipas of this new level. Dimyonos, machshavos, taivos. Right? Have you ever been in a situation where you worked on something of your physical desires? Right? Physical desires. Any kind of pleasure, whatever it is, right? And you worked through things, and you thought you had a handle on them. And then, all of a sudden, you find yourself in a situation where first comes the dimyonos and the machshavos, and then comes you at like 2 a.m. eating a gigantic bin of ice cream. Or whatever it is. For me, it's not ice cream, but whatever it is, right? And you thought you had it under control. I thought I had this. I thought I was done with this, and it comes back, right? It can be much worse than a bucket of ice cream, as we all know. Bilbulim, confusions, right? I begin to doubt. I begin to be like, well, is this really the right thing for me? Am I really in the right place? Am I really doing the right thing with my life? And I see people are pulling me this way, people are pulling me this way. Maybe, right? Confusions. This is another form of klipa. Remember what we did. We thought about it. We contemplated it. Hisbodedus. We talked to Hashem about it. Hisbodedus. We got eitzah. We got advice. We worked on it. We put it in from our mind into our heart. We did everything, and we got to this place. Right? We went through the process already of determining that this is the path that I should be on. But it doesn't stick. You're gonna have these thoughts. This is and it makes so much sense, because that form of intellect and heart that we put in, and it moved us to this new level. When we get to that new level, the klipas are trying to stop us. So the exact thing they're gonna do is try to derail us and make us think you made a mistake, or this is you shouldn't have done this. Are you sure? It's gonna just put a little doubt into our minds. Remember, the same gematria of Amalek is suffix, is doubt, right? When a Jew, like we said so many times, and the Siva Shalom says on a regular basis, he says, when a Jew is Yoshev Yishuv Hadas, when a Yid is able to sit with Yishuv Hadas, with a settled mind, with a clear mind, he says, Kol Hoin da Alma Eino Shav L'Klum. All the wealth in the world is nothing compared to this. Of a Jew being able to sit with Yishuv Hadas, clarity and purpose. There's nothing in the world more valuable than this. He says, right? So we had that. But then we move up. And when we move up, they're not so happy about our new existence. And so they're trying to stop us with all these things. And miniyos, they'll throw things up in our face. They'll we'll think we're on a good path. And, I got a thing where I'm going out and I'm walking in nature and talking to Hashem for an hour a day, specifically at noon, where I made this time. And then all of a sudden, you'll get something where, your elderly mother needs you every single day at noon, and there's no way you can't do it. You have to go help your elderly mother. There's nothing else to do, right? You have to go, right? That's a mania. That's something that's standing up in your face, and you have to figure out, now, can I reschedule? Can I do this, right? All these things are going to happen. Rabbi Nachman is telling us, look out, be prepared, because it means you're on the right track. And you got to stand up strong. And how do we fix this? How do we get this? How do we break these klipas? Through Gedulai Sabayre, the greatness of the Creator. So what does that mean? Let's see a bit farther, and it'll help to explain what it means. It says, Kamuva b'kavanos shel hoidu l'Hashem kiru b'shmoi. As it's explained in the kavanos of the Arizal, that's the Arizal wrote, he didn't write, but his student, Reb Chaim Vital, wrote many svarim, the Kisvei Ari. We have almost a full bookshelf of all his different svarim over there. But one of them is called the Shar HaKavanos, the gate of Kavanos, of intentions. And it means, Kavanos means these certain types of intentions one has in their mind during tefillah, during doing mitzvahs, right? And it's a whole thing. It's very, very complex, and in order to understand how to daven in a siddur, sometimes it means, on the deepest level, it means you know all these different names of Hashem, and combinations of names of Hashem, and what they mean, and what spiritual energies they channel within them. Hold on one second. I know I don't usually do this, but I'm just going to get a sefer here to just show you something. 1 second. Okay, so this is what people who know how to daven with kavanas, this is what their siddur looks like. This whole thing is just names of Hashem going on one word of tefillah is this whole entire page, right? So this is the deepest kavanas that most of us are not zoicha to know, but some people know. However, there's lower level kavanas that we can all attach ourselves to, that we can all understand. And we're going to say over one of them here, and every single one of us can do this, could have this in mind. So let me read it, and then I'll explain it. So this is a kavana, an intention to have during davening, from the Shara Kavanas of the Arizal, but something that we could understand. So, Kamuva b'kavanas shel hoidu l'Hashem kiru b'shmoi. So this place in davening, the beginning of Psukei de Zimra by Nusach Sfard and by Sfaradi also. It starts with Hodu, this Tehillim, Hodu l'Hashem kiru b'shmoi. Thank Hashem and call out to His name. Shazeh hamizmar niskan lahachnia haklipa shebeyitzira. The purpose, the reason why this particular chapter of Tehillim was put into tefillah at this time is specifically to subdue the klipas. Why? Because at that particular time, the dark forces, the negative forces, are waking up in order to stop the progression going from the world of Asiyah to the world of Yetzirah. I'll explain in a second. And it's through this that we, right at this point, we talk nothing. We just talk about the greatness of Hashem. Through speaking in this, nichnaim, they are subdued. Ayin Sham. So see over there in the Shara Kavanas of the Arizal, which you won't look completely into. But I'll explain it like this. So in the nighttime is the time. That's the time, just like it's dark. That's the time when the klipas are strongest. And when we wake up in the morning, and the light shines, so the light begins to shine. The spiritual light also begins to shine. And all the things that we do in the morning are put into place in order to remove us from the klippas of the nighttime, the negative forces of the nighttime. And every piece of the davening in the morning corresponds in some way to elevation, going from the lowest worlds up to the top, right? And we already alluded to this earlier on in this Torah, where we explained that the korbanos, the offerings in the Beis Hamikdash, were specifically, one of the things that they did was that they eliminated the koyach hamedame, the power of negative imagination, right? Which leads us down all these wrong paths. And that's the first thing that we do in the morning, really. I mean, after the first section of tefillah is the korbanos. Why? Because that's the place where we're in the realm of the klippas already. And so I want to show like this. If you look, there's many different sidurim that have little hints to Kabbalah in them. But this one is called the Masuk Midvash, the Matok Midvash. And it's a person who translates a lot of Kabbalistic literature, not into English, but into understandable Hebrew. And so, if you look here, we start off the day, and in the very beginning, when we're in the section of korbanos, of the offerings, we are in. He writes at the top here. You can see there, Olam Ha'asiyah, and we're in the lowest world at that point. You know, it goes Asiyah, Yitzira, Bria, and Atzilus. So we're in Olam Asiyah, so it's called Tefilas Ha'asiyah. The korbanos in the beginning, leading up to this point that we're talking about now, is called Tefilas Ha'asiyah. And when we say these tefillas properly, the mindset is the general, like holistic, general mindset, is that we are elevating the aspect of Asiyah, the world of Asiyah, upwards, to go and enclose the world of Yetzirah. Right? So, moving a level up. Just like we're talking about now. When we are personally in our own lives moving a level up. Right? So what did we just say happens when we move a level up? Do the bad guys go quietly? No. As soon as we move a level up, they come, the klippas, the dark forces come, and they want to exert their energy to stop it. So the Arizal says, that's why at this very point, right in Tefilas Ha'asiyah, leading up to what's going to be Tefilas Hayetzira, where we start Baruch Shamar, where we go to the next universe, we elevate to the next level. Leading up to that, we have to start with this Hoidul Hashem Kir B'Shmai. Thank Hashem and call out to His name. We have to talk about the greatness of Hashem, because talking about the greatness of Hashem and showing the greatness of Hashem in the world to our enemies, to ourselves, to the klippas, to everything, it frightens away bad forces. The greatness of Hashem frightens away evil forces. So what does this paragraph consist of? Hoidul Hashem Kir B'Shmai. Shirulo, sing to Him. Zamrulo, sing to Him in a different way. Sichu b'chol nivloisav, tell all of His wonders. Yismach lev mevakshe Hashem, the heart, those who search for Hashem should have happy hearts. Dirshu Hashem, seek Hashem and His strength. Bakshu panav tamid, always search for His face. Remember His zichru nifloisav asher, remember the miracles, the wonders that He's done. Moifsi, remember the wonders that He's done. He who Hashem Elokeinu b'chol haaretz mishpatav. Everything in the universe, it comes from His mishpat. Remember forever His covenant. All these things, saying these awesome things about Hashem. These amazing things about Hashem. Talking about the Gedulas Haborah. The Arizal says, why are we doing this here? Because we're about to move from Asiyah to Yetzirah in our morning service. Right? We wake up in the morning and we begin an elevation process. And we're about to make the first jump to the first world. And the klippas are going to come after us. So what do we got to do? Talk about the awesomeness of Hashem. That's what we do. And this is what we should have in mind over here. Now listen to this, just in case you didn't believe Rabbi Nachman. I'll just read what he says in the siddur over here. This is written right in this siddur. Psukim elu mafridim es klipos me'akadusha. These psukim separate the klippas, the negative forces, from the holiness. Al yedei shekulam yakiru elokusa yisbarach. Through that they will all recognize the greatness of Hashem. That's the purpose of these psukim. He says, this is the commentary of the Masik Mitavash on this part of the Siddur. Hoydel Hashem kiru b'shmai. Perush, atem malachim kadoshim v'kitos kadoshim. You angels and holy congregations of holy forces. I don't know how to call this. Kiru b'shmoi shel Hashem yisbarach. Yell out Hashem's name. We're not. This is in what's called the form of tzivui in Hebrew language. It's a command. Hoydul Hashem kiru l'shmai. Who are we talking to? You don't say that to yourself. I'm not saying I am going to thank Hashem and call out to Him. We are commanding, says the Masik Mitvash over here, in the name of the Arizal, we are commanding the malachim, the spiritual forces upstairs, to thank Hashem and to say over His greatness, call to His name. Atem malachim kedoshim. And speak over His actions to the Amim, which refers to what? The klipos, the negative forces. And through this, the klipos will be terrified of Hashem when we say this. And this entire parak of Tehillim here, and all this whole thing up until Baruch Sha'amar, which is the step where we go into Tefillas HaYitzira, right? We go up into the next universe. Kulei medaber al zeh. It's all speaking about this. Sheyakiru ha'amim v'agoyim v'eloheihem gadlusa yisbarach. That all of the outside forces, all of the klipas, the nations, the bad guys, everything, and us, we should all know the greatness of Hashem. And through this is how we knock out the klipas that are at the new level that we're fighting. Right? Ki Pnimius HaYitzira Oil LeBria, says the Arizal is quoting, the inner aspect of Yitzira goes up to Bria, the third level. Upnimius Asiya Oila Umalbish Lechitzonius Yitzira. And the inner nature of the lowest level of Asiya now elevates itself up and surrounds and encloses the outside level of the second universe of Yitzira. So, what's Rabbi Nachman telling us over here? He's telling us that it's awesome, really. It's totally amazing. He's saying that the universe is not just something that's separate from us, right? It's an important principle in Kabbalah. Maybe we mentioned once or twice, I'm not sure. A principle that says, it's called Kol Ma Sheyesh Beklal Yesh Beprat. And it's a fantastic, unbelievable principle. We should maybe have a shir about this one day, just Kabbalistically what this means. It's amazing. It basically says that when you understand the system of Kabbalah and you understand the names of Hashem and what they mean, you will see them everywhere in the universe, right? Not only that, but you'll see them for example, we know that there's a system of 10 sefiros, right? 10 emanations, holy emanations. And every one of those sefiros has within it 10 sefiros. And so on and so forth. Every one of those has within it those. And they all have it. And the sephira of Chesed, for example, which is the right side, right? Corresponds to the right arm of the human body anthropomorphically. But it has within it 10 sefiros also. It has Gevura in it. It has all 10 sefiros in it. Right? And in a certain way, sometimes the people who know these things explain it as if it's like, and it's similar. We have a way to understand it that they didn't have in the past with the concept of DNA. Right? Because you know that our whole entire body all has the exact same DNA. It's just that certain chromosomes, I guess, certain aspects of that DNA are turned into a foot, let's say. Act like a foot, right? Certain aspects of that DNA act like a blue eye, right? It comes out in that way, but it all comes from the same exact DNA. So everything in the universe is made up of Esser sefiros, of 10 sefiros. But depending on what that thing is, the sefiros are gonna emerge and like actuate in a different way, depending on where they come. So we're saying over here something totally awesome, that there's a whole elevation that happens to all the universes, and we play a part in it through our tefillas, and everyone that davens contributes to the elevation of these universes, and the whole entire thing, Asiya, Yitzira, Bria, and Atzilus are all elevating. The whole spiritual universe, everything in existence is elevating. And when that happens, we see that every time we elevate, there's going to be a fight back of the klippas. We're going to encounter negativity and darkness whenever we get to a new level. In the whole entire universe, this happens, right? So Rabbi Nachman's saying, okay, but you're also a universe. You, as an individual person, we are a universe in and of ourselves. It's not even really, I would say, a microcosm of a universe, but it's really a real universe. We're too small to see what that really means, right? We don't quite understand it, but we are a whole universe contained within a person, right?
Isn't there a saying to save a life is like saving a world?
There is such a saying. I was just thinking about this. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. When we say, Rabbi Yaakov just said that if anyone who saves a life, it's as if they saved an entire olam. That can be a world, that could be a universe. Why? Because every person is a universe. Where Chazal tell us that every person is supposed to say, every single day we're supposed to say, Bishvili nivra olam. The whole universe was created for me. And we're supposed to understand that everything that I experience, there's a singular, in a certain way, the way that I see this, is that we should understand that everything I experience, everything in creation that I am experiencing, the Ribono Shel Olam is made in order so that I should experience it. And that happens to every individual person, even though the experiences are all different. This is the Gadlus HaBorei. This is like the greatness of Hashem. Somehow, Hashem can make a bunch of universes existing at once. A bunch of people with different experiences, but some shared experiences and some not. Somehow, like if you thought Hashgacha Pratis just means that, I missed my bus, and it turns out that bus got into an accident, and I could have been hurt. That is Hashgacha Pratis. But Hashgacha Pratis is so deep. Everything that happens in the world affects every single person on some level, and somehow the Hashgacha Pratis of one person works out exactly with another person, and another person, another person. It's like a huge web of that the biggest supercomputer could not put together. Right? This is the amazingness of Hashgacha Pratis. Anyway, I don't know where we're going with all this. we got kind of way off topic. But every person is a universe. So this is what Rabbi Nachman's telling us. It's not only that when we daven and we think about what the Arizal tells us is happening, that we have this elevation and then we have to fight against the klippas on every level. This happens to us as individuals in our lives when we are moving up in our spirituality, in our avodas Hashem, in our connection to the Ribono Shel Olam, right? We are going to have the same thing happen to us. As soon as I elevate to a new place, I'm going to face new challenges, darkness, confusion, negative thoughts, taivas, physical desires. Things are going to come up to stop me in the world. All this is going to happen. And the answer to fix it all is Gadlus HaBorei, is to proclaim, to understand the greatness of Hashem. Rabbi Nachman's going to tell us a specific thing, a specific way that the greatness of Hashem comes out. But I believe that it's also possible that we can hone in on this aspect of tefillah. We can hone in before we get to the specific advice that Rabbi Nachman is going to give us, which is one thing, right? It's another thing. Look around the world. See the greatness of Hashem, right? Appreciate the amazingness of the universe. When we're davening, say these words. That's a good one. The Hoidil Hashem Kir B'Shmai Ashrei Yoshvei Beisecha is just saying over the greatness of Hashem. Have this in mind. Think about it, right? Gadlus HaBorei. Appreciate the amazing nature of the Ribono Shel Olam. Now let's take that and go into what's the specific thing that Rabbi Nachman tells us activates the greatness of Hashem in the world. Let's see. V'hisgalus gedulas HaBorei, the revealing of the greatness of the Creator. Hu al yedei, what's it going to be? Anybody guess? Tzedakah. It's going to be through tzedakah. Shenoisnim la'ani hagon, that we give to a deserving, impoverished person. Ki ikar, we're going to speak about it. Just let's go through it a little bit. Ki ikar hagedula v'hape'er hu hisgalus hagavanim, because the main greatness, and pe'er means splendor, comes about through the revealing of the supernal colors. So supernal colors are like this. This really refers to the supernal colors are colors that are associated with the spheres, with the 10 spheres. And they all have different colors. Happens to be, if you have this black book like here, on the back of all of these, there's a bunch of like helpful notes about these types of things. I think it's in this one also. Yeah. So in this one, if you look on page, it's not numbered, the page is at the end here, but it has a section over here called the supernal colors. See everybody? Right here, the supernal colors. So it says what they are. Not that it means absolutely anything to us whatsoever, what the colors are. But, so, Keser is blinding invisible white. Chochmah is a color that includes all color. Bina is yellow and green. Chesed is white and silver. Gevura is red and gold. Tiferes is yellow and purple. Netzach is light pink. Hoid is dark pink. I don't know where they get these colors from. Yesod is orange. And Malchus is blue. Right? These are the supernal colors.
That's why they call it royal blue.
Yeah, right? For sure. You're right, Vered said that's why they call it royal blue. So it happens to be that's why also Techeles is so expensive and valuable. It's the only color that doesn't have a naturally occurring dye process in the world, except for, like most dyes are made from vegetables and these types of things. They're easier to find. Blue color in ancient times, before they had synthetic dyes, could only be produced from these like shellfish. And there's a certain plant called indigo, which is a fake version of it, which doesn't last, it's not color fast, it fades over time. But this color, royal blue, could only be produced by these certain types of shellfish. And yeah, the one that they think it is nowadays is a type of sort of snail called the Murex trunculus. And it's they found a lot of archaeological evidence for this, whatever. The Radziner Rebbe in the like much longer ago, I think in the 1800s, he went through a whole chakira and decided that the fish, that's called the chilazon in the Gemara, that makes techeles is the cuttlefish, which is an interesting type of sea creature, and it works, it makes it. But it's missing a lot of the identifiers that there is in the Gemara. So in more recent times, there's been a whole movement for this one type of snail called the Murex trunculus that makes this blue dye, and it fits you can answer up all the questions with it. And they found crazy archaeological evidence. They found, like, on the coast of Israel and also of Lebanon, like small, like, remnants of like factories, where there was they had like pots and stuff there, and piles of the shells of these things, because so in order to just dye a few threads, like to make a few pairs of tzitzis, you got to use a number of these snails, and it's an arduous process. It's very difficult. So it was super expensive, super hard to come by. So only the most wealthy, highest people could afford to have garments of blue in the ancient world, which is why it's called royal blue, and why we have such a string in our tzitzis of this color of royalty, of malchus. So yeah, but this is the sheer of going on tangents today. But so what does that have to do with what we're talking about over here? So somehow, and I don't have examples other than the ones we're talking about here, when the spheres are emanating in the way that they're supposed to, when they line up in the right way, So those supernal colors are activated in the world. They shine those colors somehow. I don't know what that means exactly, except for what Rabbi Nachman's going to say over here. I don't know if that's why, when you see fabulous colors in nature, if that's an aspect of these things. I don't really know. But let's hear this. Let's see what we're saying over here. Because two of those colors, as we saw when we read them, are gold and silver. Right? And the greatest pe'er, the greatest splendor, revealing of the splendor of Hashem in the world, is when these colors are revealed in the world. Okay? V'kesef v'zahav hein hagavanim. These are those colors. Kesef and zahav, gold and silver and gold. Ki gavanim iloyim behem, because they have within them these supernal colors. Kesef and zahav. So, in other words, it's not just a coincidence. It's not just some happened to work out this way. That these two things, silver and gold, play such a huge role in the universe. Right? Like silver and gold. This is what we talk about. Even nowadays, people who want to pad their portfolio with reliable stuff that, even preppers who think the end of the world's coming and so they sell all the stocks off, they have bars of gold sitting in their safes buried under their rural properties. Right? Why? Because gold is intrinsically valuable. Right? Like people decided that this is what it is. Not granite, not quartz, not iron, right? Not even other types of unusual metals.
Diamonds.
But gold and diamonds for sure, yeah. But gold and silver, they have like a special. Everyone knows gold and silver. It's like universally valuable, right? They bring something into the world that everybody values. There's something special about gold and silver, right? They have, why? Because they are a representation of these supernal colors of Chesed and Gevura shining into the world. Okay? And these supernal colors that are enclosed within silver and gold, they don't illuminate, they don't shine their light properly until they come into the hands of a Jew. Because that's where it's supposed to be. And I can explain this, by the way, in a way that's really easy to understand, because it's not as simple as it sounds, right? We're not saying that money is only good when it's in the hands of a Jew. We're going to see it in the next page. He's going to explain it, but what it means is that a Jew is supposed to be doing something in the world. Is supposed to be fulfilling a mission. Is supposed to be doing good things and bringing light into the world. And that's why we're the Am HaNivchar. That's why we're the chosen people. Hashem chose us to be a messengers in the world, to do good things in the world. And if we don't do them, people know it, and they hate it, right? And they see it. If a Jew is not doing what they're supposed to be doing in the world, they're not bringing light into the world, people can't stand it, right? And it's we have an extra difficult, special mission to do in the world. And when we do that mission properly, we cause these supernal colors to illuminate. So when the money is in the hands of a Jew, if he's doing things in the right way, the money has a special luminescence, let's say, right? Something special happens. And they become encompassed one within the other. And they shine forth these colors, like the pasuk says in Yeshaya, Yisrael asher b'cha es pa'er. Rabbi Nachman uses this pasuk a lot. In Yeshaya, Hashem says about Yisrael, the Jewish people, asher b'cha, that through you I will be splendorified. I will be, what's the word I'm looking for over here? Oh, he probably translates it. It says, in whom I take pride. But I like to use this word, that the splendor of Hashem is supposed to be shown through the Jewish people. Because this is the place, when a Jew is doing what they're supposed to be doing, this is where those supernal colors get revealed and shine. This is where the spirits are supposed to shine their light, emanation into the world. And when these colors shine, then Hashem, Kadosh Baruch Hu, is greatened and exalts and takes pride in them. Is greatened and his splendor is shown in the world. Bebechinas, like the pasuk says in Chagai, Li ha-kesef veli ha-zahav. The silver is to me and the gold is to me. V'naisa mehem bigdei yesha. And there will be made from them garments of yesha, of salvation. Yesha, so the word yesha, yud shin ayin, so we usually understand this shorish to mean salvation, being saved, right? I need a Yeshua, right? Hosha, no, save us, please, is what it means, right? But yesha also has another meaning. Awesome, this is classic, awesome Rabbi Nachman, which means istaklusa, which means looking, concentrating, looking on something. Kamoe, yish'oi el Hashem. They looked, yish'u el Hashem. They looked towards Hashem. You see, it means also. This is a pasuk in Shmuel Beis. Machmas ha-pe'er hakol mistaklin boy. Because of the pe'er, because of the amazing splendor, everyone looks at it. Everyone wants to see it. Kichulam misaven leistakel, because everyone wants to see the beauty of Hashem in the world. Everyone wants to see the beauty of Hashem unfolding. Ki'ilu, I would say, it's like when a Jew does something beautiful, does a beautiful mitzvah, does something really good in the world, right? It shows something splendorous in the world, something totally beautiful. And when a Jew is doing what they're supposed to be doing, they bring something very good into the world, right? And people want to see it. But we're saying over here that when silver and gold are in the hands of a Jew, and they do what they're supposed to do with it. Meaning, this is all part of tzedakah. It's not that they take money and hoard it and use it to, buy vacation property. It's when a Jew takes the money and does the right thing they're supposed to do with the money. That money has a special beauty when it's used in that way. Aval, kol zman she'akesef hazav eitz la'akum. But if the gold and silver and gold is in the hands of akum, of idol worshippers, of those who are not doing it for mitzvahs, right? Azai hagavanim ne'elamim oiram. The colors, they hide their shine. They don't give out that light anymore. Ve'ina me'irim. They don't illuminate. Ki ein sham makomim, because they're not in the right place. They're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Ki ein makomim ela eitzel isha Israeli, because their place is meant to be by a yid. And I'm inserting over here is doing the right thing with him. Bechinas Yisrael asher b'cha aspire, like the pasuk says, Yisrael, that through them I will be adorned. Kisham pe'er hagavanim. That's the place where the splendor of the colors comes forth. You everybody with me? So, bishvil zeh. Now this is a crazy paragraph. Listen to this. Bishvil zeh ha'akum te'evim lamam Yisrael, and it's for this reason that traditionally that other nations have desired the Jews' money, right? Even though they have a ton of money, there's something about taking money from the Jews which has always been a thing. Te'evim ladinar shel Yehudi. They have this desire for a coin of a Jew, as if they didn't see money in their lives ever. Why? It's because the silver and gold, that when it's in the hands of a Jew who's doing good things with it, who's drawing spirituality down and using that money for good, it has a splendor, it has an illumination. But if it's not, ein hagavanim meirim, then they don't shine. Ve'ein hachein shur al mammon shelhem. There's the chein, the spiritual beauty, is not shining on the money. Because it only happens when it's in that hand of the person, of the Jew, who's doing with it what it's supposed to be done with it. So he brings down in the commentary over here, like traditionally, it's been very, 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 very normal. The fact that we don't really have it nowadays is new. that there's always been like taxes levied specifically against Jews, right? Specific taxes on Jews. You see it even biblically, all through history, everywhere you see it, even back in this, it's like also by the Nazis. By the Nazis, they didn't, it wasn't enough just to wipe everyone out, but they kept silver and gold and it's very interesting. So that's why they're called Rashim, which means impoverished. Kamoi have zehirim barashus. Can Pirkei Avos, it says you have to be careful with authority, with rulers. Rashus, it's from the same shorish. One meaning of the word Rashim, Rashus, means impoverished, and one means to be a ruler in authority. The same word has these two meanings. The same shorish has these two meanings. Why? Kehem Rashim va'anim. Because in a certain sense, they're impoverished. Ki ein lehem hana, because they don't have this level of pleasure from the money. Because it's not illuminating. Right? Ki ilu hemanim, as if they're impoverished. Uteivim maman Israel, and they desire the money that belongs to the Jewish guy. Ki al mamoinam shal ha-Yisraeli sheire ha-pe'er v'achein, because that's where the chein and the spiritual beauty and the splendor is radiating. V'kol te'evim listakel al ha-pe'er v'achein, and everyone wants to be part of this splendor and this spiritual beauty. And he says, Avalda, but no, Teichef umiyad k'she'akum makabel mamim Yisrael. Right away, immediately, as soon as this person takes the money from a Jew, Teichef umiyad nis'ale machein va'pe'er b'toich mammon. Right away, the lights turn off, and the beauty and the splendor is gone. Mishvol zeh ha'akum b'chol pam toiveya mammon acher miYisrael. And that's why it happens every time that they take money from the Jew and they want more, because it's like it doesn't work. Something's wrong with it. It's not satisfying. They forget the money that they already took. Because what happens? The chein, the spiritual beauty, is hidden as soon as it leaves the place where it was supposed to be used. This is what it means that they only befriend somebody at the time when it's beneficial to them, but it means only when they're going to have hana from it. That's when they want to be close and take the money. So let's do a little bit more. This is an aspect of chein. It has spiritual charm in the eyes of Hashem. That means that's referring to Einei Hashem. The eyes of Hashem is referring to the supernal colors. That's what the eyes of Hashem see. Shem bechinas kesef v'zahav. That's kesef v'zahav. Sham ikar hachein v'hape'er. That's the main place of chein and pe'er. And so it's like this. This is so cool. We're going to get to it in the next paragraph, but we have to finish with this. So pe'er is the same root word as the word tiferes. Right? And Tiferes is the word for beauty, splendor, but it's also the perfect combination of Chesed and Gevura. When Chesed and Gevura go hand in hand and work together, they create Tiferes, which is beauty and splendor. And Pe'er is the word that we're using over here. Yisrael asher b'cha espayer, Hashem says. It's through Yisrael, it's through you guys, doing the mitzvahs that I give you, doing the mission that I sent you. That's how I'm going to be adorned and made splendor, right? It's through you doing this, and also Yisrael is also, so in Kabbalah the partsuf that's called sometimes Zer Anpin, which is the lower 6 spheres, not including Malchus, Chesed Gevurah Tiferes Netzach and Yesod. One of the names for that partsuf also is actually Yisrael, and that partsuf sometimes also is called Tiferes. So Tiferes and Yisrael are like one thing, and it comes from Yaakov. V'zeh Amar, we're almost there. V'zeh Amar Avimelech l'Sara. This is what Avimelech said to Sarah. Hine nasati elef kesef la'achich I gave, so Avimelech, when Avram and Sarah came, just last week's Parsha, 2 weeks ago maybe, Avram and Sarah came, and Avram said, pretend you're my sister, because they're going to kill me. Right? So Avimelech gave Avram Avinu money. Hine hu lach ksus einayim. And he said, this is, let it be to you a cloak for the eyes. So after he sent them away, he gave a lot of money to Avram Avinu, and he said, this should be something that covers your eyes. What does that mean? So when this money went from the hands of Avimelech into the hand of Avram Avinu, from the hand of this Russian to the hand of a tzaddik, right, to Avram Avinu, Teichef nisgalu hagavanim. Right away, the colors illuminated. V'nasu b'bechinas bigdei yesha, and they turned into this aspect of an enclothing of salvation or of histaklus, of vision. Hainu kasus einayim, meaning bigdei, a beged of yesha, which is what it was called, meaning it was enclothed with this aspect of yesha that people see and look at, want to see the beauty of the enclothement of the spiritual colors on this item, right? That's the same words, bigdei yesha, as kasus einayim, a garment covering and eyes. Shakol mistaklim behem, everyone looked at them. Shakol te'evim mistaklim, everyone wanted to look at them. So we see from that parsha over there also, as soon as the money came into the hands of Avram Avinu, who was the biggest tzaddik, right? So as soon as he came to his hands, where now that money is to be used for Hashem's will in the world, it has a new illumination. Val yadei tzedakah shenoisen mimamoinai nistaken kol mamoinai, and it's through this, through giving tzedakah from our own money. That is how all of our money becomes nistaken. It receives a rectification. V'nisgalen hagavanim u'meirim, and the colors are then revealed on our money, and they illuminate. V'naise kol mamoinai bebechinas li hakesef v'li hazav. Then all of our money falls into this concept of that it's really Hashem's money. Li hakesef v'li hazav. The bechinas, like the pasuk says in Yeshaya, bigdei yesha me'il tzedakah ye'atani. We didn't say the end of that pasuk until now. That pasuk that said bigdei yesha, that said that the gold and silver, it's the same pasuk as li hakesef v'li hazav. That gold and silver is enclothed with this illumination that causes everyone to want to see the beauty of it, right? What's it called? What's that beged, that enclothement called? Me'il tzedakah ya'atani, a garment of tzedakah, cover me with a garment of tzedakah, a robe of tzedakah, a robe of charity, right? It's the fact that it's a robe of charity that causes it to illuminate. It's the fact that it's used for this mitzvah of tzedakah. And what is the mitzvah of tzedakah? Because see, I've been trying to choose my words wisely over here, because I don't want anyone to think that what we're saying is, because it could come off sounding very, like what all those anti-Semites think out there, right? That we think that the Jewish money has to stay in Jewish hands, and if it's in their hands, it's not good. It has to be only in our hands. That's not what we're saying at all over here. We're saying that there's a way to exist in the world that a Jew is supposed to be. A Jew is supposed to be a messenger of Hashem in the world and do good things in the world, bring light into the world, godly light into the world. And if we do that, and we do it right, that means that through doing all these mitzvahs, which correspond to all our different body parts and correspond to all different spheres and aspects of creation, when I do them, I illuminate those spheres. I illuminate those things, and I allow that light to shine in the world. I'm unleashing the light of Hashem in the world when I live the way Hashem tells me to live. Right? And so when I give tzedakah, and I'm taking from my money, and I'm giving to someone else, it's one of the most important aspects of showing the greatness of Hashem. Because there's a beautiful way to see this concept of tzedakah that many people say over, of all different aspects of Judaism, all different groups of Judaism, all like to say this idea over, which is that it's that when Hashem, you get a paycheck every month, right? Let's just say, for argument's sake, I know no one could live on it, but let's say it was $1,000, right? say 10,000 if you want, whatever it is. You get $1,000, money comes into you for your paycheck, for you do a sale, whatever you do. That money comes from Hashem. We know Hashem runs the world. Hashem is giving you $1,000. He's not giving you $1,000. Hashem is saying, I have a very important mitzvah for you to do right now, and you're going to come in contact with people, and I'm giving you right now $100. And that $100 is meant for certain other people, and I'm entrusting you with it. And when you do this mission, I'm giving you like 190% commission, 90% commission, right? And you're going to get to keep the $900 and live with it. But that money does not belong to you at all. It doesn't belong to you. You have to give it. I'm using you as my messenger to give it to the people who need it, right? And through that channel, Hashem is showing the beauty of mitzvahs in the world. I want you to take this money and give it to people who need it. I want you to care about them. I want you, if they don't come to you, I want you to find them. And I want you to give that money to people. It does not belong to you. And it's meant for you to do this in order so that the light shines into the world. Right? And when we do that, what happens? Taka, that's what happens, Rabbi Nachman says, is that money, that gold and silver, is going to begin to illuminate. And it's going to exist in a different way. It's been rectified. And now, that money is very special. So when we behave in the right way and we do things in the right way, then everything that we do reveals a light into the world and shows the splendor of Hashem, makes a pe'er, makes a beauty. Why? Because we're taking this concept of built into giving tzedakah is chesed and gevura, is the aspect of giving and the aspect of retaining, and those two things coming together, gold and silver, right, make this beautiful shining eminence of Tiferes. And Tiferes is pe'er, is splendor. Yisrael asher b'cha es pa'er. So I want to say that it's not, there's plenty of Jews out there who also don't behave the way they're supposed to, unfortunately, and it's not working. It doesn't work the way it's supposed to work when that happens, right? And we can't go and scream at our spouses, and we can't be dishonest in business, and we can't whatever it is, we can't look one way, show one face to people that we see, and then act a different way, when we're in private. And the colors aren't illuminating, right? It's not happening. We're supposed to, I didn't see this written anywhere, but I assume that it's all part of the same thing. We're supposed to be a light unto the nations, or lagoyim, right? It's through shining. I think this is what it means on a deeper level, that it's through shining these things. But we can't shine those things if we don't live in the way that the Rebbeinu Shalom tells us to live. So through doing that, and if we do it, the colors light up, and all of our money is mistaken because it has a rectification. And when we do other things, the other things light up, and there's a new aura in the world, a new light in the world, a new type of rectification. So, as they say, with great power comes great responsibility. So we have great responsibility. And in order to harness that responsibility, right, we have to act on it. We have to do these things. We have to keep a cheshbon and make sure we're giving tzedakah. This one that he's talking about over here. We have to make sure that we're doing our part we want to be a pe'er to Hashem. We want to be something that Hashem takes pride in. We want to be something that shows the splendor of Hashem in the world. And I saw someone said, Rav Rosenfeld, I don't know if he was quoting from a Zohar HaKadosh, where I'm not sure where he was quoting from, but he said that after Mashiach comes and the world exists on a new plane, that it's as if Hashem's gonna be wearing a crown, and on that crown there's gonna be a jewel. For each Jew is gonna be a jewel in the crown of Hashem. Right? But that, you hear what that means. You have to be a jewel. You have to do it. We have to take, the cloth, we have to wipe off the dirt. We have to shine ourselves up, work on ourselves. like we say on the Monday class by the Tam, right? Every single day, he was working the leather, tanning the leather, working it, making it soft, making it shiny, right? Just he was working on himself. He was working on his own body, his own goof, his own skin, making himself day by day better and better, working on myself, in order that he would become a beautiful end result. So in order to shine the lights, we gotta shine the lights. In order to change, we gotta change. We gotta work on ourselves and take ourselves to the next level. We gotta give tzedakah and do all the mitzvahs. And Yirtzeh Hashem will bring this light into the world. God willing. Any questions, comments?